everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Naz.
And I'm Alba, and in this video we're going to take you through the perfect 7-day itinerary in Guatemala based on our own trip.
Quick disclaimer, Guatemala is not only a stunning country, but also a fairly big one. So 1 week is not enough to see everything. What we'll do is share the different options that you have to travel Guatemala in 1 week, if that's all the time you have.
Before we jump into it, make sure to subscribe to our channel as we have lots of amazing content coming weekly. The first thing that you need to know about Guatemala is that there are two main areas to visit, the south and the north. In the south, you have the beautiful town of Antigua, you have lots of volcanoes to climb, and you have Lake Atitlan. Whilst in the north of Guatemala, you have one of the most famous Mayan ruins called Tikal. If you only have 1 week, it's probably best that you choose one of the areas to see, either the north or the south, depending on the things that you're most interested in.
For sure. So there's three main ways you can enter Guatemala. One of them is by flying directly to the capital, which is Guatemala City, and the other two is entering by bus, either from the south of Mexico or from Belize. If you decide to enter from Belize, you can go directly to Tikal. And if you do that, you can actually entertain the idea within a week to go to Flores as well, which is a beautiful town. But if you fly directly to Guatemala City, we recommend that you stick to Antigua and Lake Atitlan, because to go from Guatemala City, the capital, all the way to Tikal, it's a 10-hour bus or a flight. But you heard that right, a 10-hour bus. So in our case, we flew directly to Guatemala City from Mexico City, and we decided to split our itinerary into Antigua and Lake Atitlan. 4 days in Antigua, 3 days in the lake. And we felt like this was a perfect split. And we made a top 5 reason to why this was such a good idea.
Firstly, Antigua is such a beautiful place. It's a town like no other that we had ever been to. It has lots of history from the conquest, lots of places that you can visit. We made a specific Antigua video, so you know what are the things that you can do in this town. So we'll leave the link in the description, make sure to check it out. Secondly, Antigua is surrounded by incredible volcanoes. In fact, some of the biggest volcanoes in Central America are located around the town of Antigua. So whilst you're there, you're able to get a tour and do a hiking into some of the highest volcanoes. We had the chance to do this, and actually we did a 2-day hike to volcano Acatenango, again one of the highest ones in Central America and the world. And we had the chance to see erupting lava from a volcano and one of the most beautiful sunrises we have ever seen. So we really do recommend that. We also made a specific video about it, so we'll leave it in the description for you to check it out.
Number 3, affordability. And this applies to both Antigua and the Lake Atitlan. To give you an example, we were eating out every day for about $20 a day. And this is 2 people, lunch and dinner. Yep. If you go to a place like Cancun, Playa del Carmen, whatever it is, you may end up paying double. Number 4, Lake Atitlan has some of the most gorgeous and scenic views in the whole of Central America. It is very rare to go to a lake and see it fully surrounded by mountains.
And lastly, in 5th place, Lake Atitlan is one of the best places to relax and unwind, looking at the views. And there's also different activities that you can do. There's a really famous party town there, so if what you're looking for is party, you can also find it there. Yoga and meditation, so there really is something for everyone. And at the least, you can just go relax and enjoy the views. If you fly to Guatemala City, the first thing you also need to know is that you should leave straight away into Antigua. We spoke to many locals who emphasized how dangerous the city has become, especially during the last few years. There's a lot of robberies, and it's generally not very safe for tourists to just walk around there. So the best thing to do is arrive and get a transport to Antigua.
There are options available for as little as $10 in a shuttle, but you may have to wait for other people so the shuttle fills up before you go. What we did was we paid $20 per person, so a private car for $40, and the guy took us straight to Antigua.
The ride to Antigua is about an hour, although it can go up to 2 hours or sometimes more if there is a lot of traffic. So the earlier you go in the day, usually the lighter the traffic is all the way to Antigua.
Okay, so the first thing you should do when you get to Antigua is to look for a volcano tour. There is a fairly light one, which is climbing the Pacay volcano, and it should take you about 2 hours. It's a light trek, but know that the Pacay volcano is not active, so the views you get are quite limited. The second alternative is to climb Acatenango, which is what we did. Acatenango is a huge volcano. It's currently not active, but it has direct views to Volcan Fuego, and that one is active, so you can see the lava erupting throughout the whole night. The price of the tour is 300 quetzals per person, plus a 50 quetzal fee to enter the park. And this includes guides, this includes food, this includes equipment, everything. And the tour starts at about 9 a.m. in the morning, and then it lasts all the way to 1 p.m. the morning after, because it's an overnight stay. Yeah. You also have the option to climb the volcano at night, starting at 11 p.m. It's slightly more expensive. I think it's 400 quetzals, but it's tough. We spoke to people who did it, and it's very tough because you're climbing without seeing anything. Essentially,
it's the exact same tour, except you do it at night, you don't sleep, and you get there for sunrise and still get to see all of the views. So that's, if you really don't want to spend the night there, you can do this option, but you'll have to climb in pitch dark.
Yeah, but this is something that we definitely recommend. Even if you're not in an amazing physical shape, climbing Acatenango was one of the most incredible experiences we've ever had in our whole lives.
Yeah, somebody with a medium fitness level can do it. I am not particularly fit, I'm not a climber, but I was able to push through, and there were some people that were slightly behind me as well. So it's just one time, push through, and the views are worth it. Whilst in Antigua, you'll have to spend a day enjoying and really visiting the town. You have to see the famous Antigua Arch. You have to go visit the different ruins that you can find spread around the town, and definitely go to the viewpoint in Cerro de la Cruz so you can have an amazing view of the entire city and the volcanoes in the background. We think that 4 nights is the perfect amount if you only have a week in Guatemala to stay in Antigua. And the reason for that is because you'll need about 2 days for the volcano tour. You'll need some time to recover. And then you kind of have the day that you arrive and the day that you leave, which gives you about 24 hours to explore the town of Antigua.
You can then get a shuttle that takes you to Lake Atitlan, more specifically to Panajachel, and it should cost you around 100 quetzals per person. The shuttle will take roughly 2.5 hours, and the roads are quite
bumpy.
Yeah, bumpy at least. They're up and down a volcano, and they're very swifty, so if you have a motion sickness pill, take it. You might need it.
Yeah. In Lake Atitlan, there's different towns that you can stay at depending on what you're looking for. The most backpacker known destination is San Pedro, which is where there's the most nightlife and the most life for backpackers. You can either get a direct shuttle there, or you can get off at Panajachel, which has a shorter drive from Antigua, and then get a boat to San Pedro. Other towns that you can stay at are San Marcos, which is a more hippie town where you can find those activities I was mentioning about meditation and yoga. And you can also stay at Panajachel itself, which is the biggest of all of the Lake Atitlan towns.
Yeah, so there's an option to get a shuttle from Antigua directly to San Pedro La Laguna, which is 135 quetzals, but we decided to go for Panajachel and then get a taxi boat. The public taxi boat is like 25 quetzals per person, so very cheap. And it's an experience in itself.
Yeah, it was an experience. It will be busy because they wait until the boat fills up, but you do save about an hour and a half of even worse, bumpier roads all the way to San Pedro. So that's just kind of up to you what you want to experience.
Yeah, and you can rent a private boat actually for between 250 quetzals. And 400 quetzals. Yeah. So you can negotiate that.
Yeah, from Panajachel to San Pedro. Yeah. If you're a group of people, then it might make sense to do that. We think that 3 days is the perfect amount of time to stay in Lake Atitlan during your 7-day itinerary in Guatemala, because there is not that much to do in itself in the lake. It's more just kind of enjoying the views, going for a boat ride, kayaking, and just kind of relaxing and soaking the views in. So depending on what you want to do, 3 days should definitely be enough time. Once you're done, you will obviously have to return all the way back to Guatemala City, which you can either do directly from Lake Atitlan, although a lot of the shuttles and shared transportations might stop in Antigua.
Yeah, and the cost of getting a shuttle from Lake Atitlan, so San Pedro, all the way to Guatemala City, for us it was 165 quetzals, but we saw offers for 185, 200 and so on. So make sure you look around and try to negotiate and get a good price.
Yeah. On your way back to your home country, you might need to spend the night in Guatemala City, because the ride all the way back to Guatemala City from Lake Atitlan can be, 6 hours? It's quite long, so unless your flight is at night, you might not make it. But you can spend the night in Guatemala City. There's loads of hotels next to the airport with good security. So as long as you just go straight into your hotel from Lake Atitlan, spend the night there, and then from there go straight to the airport, you should have no safety issues.
Yeah, that's it. That's a quick summary of our recommendations to travel Guatemala. Honestly, one of the most underrated countries in the world. A beautiful country.
Yeah.
Perfect for backpacking.
We loved it. Of course, like we said at the start of the video, there is also the north of Guatemala that you can visit with Tikal, the Mayan ruins, and other towns like Flores and some other nature hotspots that are nearby those areas. We unfortunately didn't have the time to go there, but if you are entering from the north, so through Belize, or you can fly there as well, we recommend that you check it out.
Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate you having in our journey with us, and make sure to stick around because we'll have brand new videos coming up every week.
Thank you, and see you in the next video.